Hare Ram Vayonitai Gaura Radheshyam Japo Hare Krishna Hare Ram Hariharaya Nama Krishna Jatavaya Nama Jadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Nama Gopala Govinda Ram Sri Madhusudan Giridhari Gopinatha Madana Mohan. Jai Guru, Jai Guru, Jai Guru. Tvameva Mata Cha Pita Tvameva. Tvameva Bandhushka Sakha Tvameva. Tvameva Vidyam Dravinam Tvameva. Tvameva Sarvamam Deva Deva. Om Ajanjanatmirandasya Janajana Salakaya Chaksuru Militanjana Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Mahavira Radharamana Ki Jai, Jai Nitai, Jai Gaur, Jai Jai Sri Radheshyam. Book 3, Discourse 8, Sloka 20, 3.8.20. The creation of Brahma. ЩРИМАД Bhagavata Ki Jai. Why he does look about for his own source in that impenetrable darkness, O Vidura, there elapsed a very long time, which is nothing but the Lord's disgust, Sudarshan, that inspired terror in the heart of the living creatures and cuts short the allotted span of their life every moment. 21. At last he gave up the search without achieving the objects of his desire, and returning to his resting place, the deity gradually controlled his breath, withdrew his mind from everything else, and sat down in samadhi, deep meditation on the Lord. 22. When he had unremittingly practiced yoga for 100 years, the light of wisdom dawned on him, and he saw revealed in his heart of its own accord that which he had failed to perceive before. Important to think here if these 100 years are 100 years divine, Deva 100 years, or are human, earthly 100 years. Because there is a parenthesis in the translation, it reads the full lifespan of a healthy man. But are we speaking of 100 years of human, earthly 100 years, or 100 years of Devas? Taking in consideration that in that moment the material world, the creation, was not there. There was nothing there. Still, the mission of Brahma was to come, that he must to create and everything that we know, but on the time of the yoga of Brahma, the meditation, there was not creation. So what kind of 100 years are these? I do believe they are 100 years of Devas, but the parenthesis by the translator by C.L. Goswami and M.A. Shastri reads 100 years of a healthy man. This is something to clarify, to investigate on a deeper level. 23. On the waters that had submerged the world universe during the period of universal destruction, Brahma beheld the one supreme person, Lord Narayan, lying on the huge body of Sesha. which was white as a lotus fiber, and served as a bed for him. The extensive hoods of the serpent god Shesha, numbering 10,000, served as so many umbrellas for the Lord, and the gems set on his myriad crowns, dispelled by their brilliance and darkness all round. 24. By the effulgence of his worthy person, he obscured the splendor of a mountain of emerald. By his yellow doughty, he outshone the bright evening clouds hanging round the sides of such a mountain. By the brilliant crown adorning his head, he stole the charm of its many peaks of gold. By his wreath of sylvan flowers, he eclipsed the beauty of the gems, rills, shining herbs, and flowers adorning the breast of such a mountain. By his shapely arms, he excelled the bamboos, looking like the arms of that mountain, and by his beautiful legs, he threw into the background the trees constituting its legs. 25. His person, which contained all the three worlds, was its own compeer both in length and breadth. Even though it adds grace to the wonderful divine ornaments and robes themselves, yet he had chosen to adorn it with the same. 26. He graciously showed by placing them in a prominent position his rich yielding lotus feet to devotees that worship him through faultless process for the gratification of their own desire. Lotus feet whose petals in the shape of toes could be distinctly seen, though closely united with one another through the rays of their moon-like nails. 27. Nay, he greeted his worshippers with his countenance, which was endowed with a beautiful nose and graceful eyebrows, and lit up with a smile that was enough to relieve the agony of the whole world, and which was graced with brilliant earrings and reflected the ruddy luster of his lips that resembled a ripe bimba fruit. 28. His buttocks were adorned with a loin cloth, yellow as the filaments of a kadamba flower, as well as with a girdle, while his bosom, dear son, was marked with a golden streak, and graced with its favorite necklace, which was invaluable. 29. In the shape of the 14 words, he is like a sandal tree, the king of trees, with his pair of stout arms, adorned with most precious armlets and the best of gems. For its numberless boughs, with its root unknown, because it has not root other than itself, and with the hoods of Shesha, the lord of serpents, coiled about its trunk. 30. Lying in the midst of the ocean, the Lord further looked like a mountain surrounded by water, even as a mountain affords shelter to both animate and inanimate beings. The Lord is the resting place of the whole animate and inanimate creation. Even as a mountain is hospitable to large serpents, the Lord is a friend of Shesh, the Lord of serpents. The thousands of diadems that adorn the hoods of Shesh appear like so many peaks of gold, while the diamonds called Kaustuba that shone on the bosom of the Lord looked like a gem emerging from the heart of a mountain. 31. Brahma now had a clear view of Sri Hari, Jai Ho, who wear round his neck a wreath of sylvan flowers that represented his glory, and was graced by the Vedas that had taken the form of beasts to hymn his praises. He was inaccessible even to the sun, the moon, the air, and fire, and could hardly be approached by his enemies, being closely guarded by his weapons like Sudarshan and others who were truth, consciousness, and bliss personified, and even paraded round him. 32. That very moment, Brahmā, the will-be creator of the world, who was intent on evolving the universe, beheld in his heart, along with the Lord, the lotus which had shot forth from his navel, the water that rent him, the blast that was blowing, the sky that hung over his head like a canopy, as well as himself, sitting on a lotus, and nothing other than this. Dominated as he was by the quality of Rajas, he desired to undertake the work evolving the creation. But when he saw only the aforesaid material for the same, he fixed his mind on the Lord, Jai Ho, whose ways are unknown to anyone, and thus began to extol him, who is the only one deserving of praise, intent as he was on creation. 33. Thus end the 8th discourse in Book 3 of the great and glorious Bhagavata Purana, otherwise known as Paramahamsa Samhita. Tomorrow at the same time, you are welcome to hear the discourse 9. Brahmā extols the Lord with 44 shlokas, surely pure nectar. Jai Sri Radheshyam, Bhajanita Go Radheshyam, Japo Hare Krishna Hare Ram.